I would like to give a demonstration on how to get into jazz and jazz improvisation. And jazz improvisation is pretty intimidating. You pretty much have to make something up on the spot. There are chord symbols above staves that give you a rough guide, but there is quite a lot involved in explaining how those work. So this is going to take a step back right to the beginning and make use of the scales at the back of the Abracadabra for clarinet and saxophone book. I think both of them have G major and F major. So for example, here's a G major scale. And they have arpeggios. And these are really good because these are patterns that are quite common to a piece. So if your fingers are used to doing those patterns, you get a piece that's in that key and suddenly everything just fits under the fingers a lot nicer. However, we're going to try and do some jazz. So we're going to swing that rhythm. So we take our G major scale. And suddenly we're playing jazz, So we can take those notes from that G major scale and just make things up a little bit. Turn aside. So it's getting probably a little bit fancy, but let's take the arpeggio for example now. That kind of starts to sound familiar. So you might recognize that as Glenn Miller's In the Mood, which of course was number 78 in the Abracadabra, which was Hey Mr. Miller, which was trying to just tease you into these jazzy elements. So what we can do now is we just take those notes that are in the G major scale and we just make something up. Don't stray from the G major too much, don't sneak in a C sharp right now, don't put in some little grace notes. Just keep it nice and simple and you realize, this is working. Oh, and then I go off and do a turn and try and make it too fancy. Okay, so what we're doing is just taking those notes So sure, I might have snuck in on little G sharps and stuff. I just kind of out myself, it seems. But you see what's happening here? We're just taking G major scale and we're just plucking those notes out of that scale. Look, you can look at that music and just say, oh look, I'm going to play some B, I'm going to play some G, now I'm going to play some A. I'm still just playing notes from the G major scale and I'm just making stuff up. And if you want to make it sound nice and safe and finished, just angle your way back down to that G and just finish on the tonic and you got your note. So the same thing applies to F major. Let's do our F major scale now. Okay, but this time I'm going to introduce a slightly different concept. So we can tongue everything, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, but sometimes it's nice to mix up the tonguing and slurring. Quite often, especially in the linear house books, he likes a 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So not necessarily. So you're mixing up the tonguing and slurring. Notice I'm also ghosting some notes. Tu ta ta ta. So let's just pluck a bunch of B flat major. No, sorry. What are we in? F major scale notes. And I don't want to discriminate here. The clarinet can get on the action too. So G major scale. Okay, so we're just playing notes from the G major scale. None of those strayed. Here's F major. Okay, so all those notes are just playing those, or just all the notes that are in that scale at the end of your Abracadabra book. So before you even try and play any kind of jazz standards and stuff. You can just kind of make stuff up on your own on the spot. And gosh, if you're really into composition, you might want to just get out your phone, record yourself playing some notes, and then eventually try and write it down. But that might be a different video. Another F major piece. We just made up on the spot, just keeping it real safe. We're not changing chords or anything. We're just keeping to that F major, G major. It's all very, very happy. And look, I'm just trying to demonstrate, like, there are some stepping stones to getting into jazz improvisation, and it's literally as just going right back to a really basic scale and just having some fun with it.